Good day, you beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of TeaN'BizzKits. Thank you very much for hitting that little thumbnail and seeing what I'm up to in this episode. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please check out some of my other videos. There's all sorts of stuff going on. So if you've been watching my previous episodes, you'll know that there's quite a lot that we need to be doing because the rolling road is next week. So, previous episode, you would have seen that my ECU is possibly up the wall. Car starts, but it just doesn't rev, it backfires, it's not healthy. I did a little bit of working out on the wiring and it looks like there's no 5 volt out of the OMEX. So the first port of call, as always with these things, is just to quickly hit Google and see if anything is happening on the forums. And there isn't really much information at all about OMEX ECUs not putting out 5 volts. So there was nothing I could particularly do or check. Taking a look inside, there is some corrosion on the PCBA, so that could be the reason why. But one thing that I did notice on the forums was people generally saying that OMEX are a bit of a pain to deal with. Customer services can be slow, there's no contact number for them, things like that. It's really panicking about whether I'm going to be getting my ECU sent off and back as quick as I need to. So here's a turnout for the books. I went onto the OMEX Facebook page and also submitted a form through their website to say, help, I need some help, quick. And they actually sent me a message straight away, like literally within a day, saying, hi, really sorry to hear that you've had this feedback off of the forums. There's no need for it. We've got no waiting list for our repairs. You know, we are on this as a company. So first of all, hats off to your OMEX. At least you're actually talking to me, which is really good. So after talking to them about costs and what problems may be, I boxed it up and I sent it off to OMEX. Within a day of them receiving it, they'd unboxed it, checked it, and sent me an email. And the report, nothing wrong with it. What the hell? Nothing wrong with it. Did I make an ECU error? Looking back through old photographs and looking at the schematic again, oh look, the pink 5 volt output is in the wrong pin. Now, there were 2 wires coming out of that, and because I didn't need one of them, I took it out, chopped it because it was right at the crimp terminal and poked it back in. I poked it in the wrong end. Easy mistake to make. Anyway, my OMEX ECU got checked over by OMEX, got recoated in a waterproof coating. They gave it the all clear and they sent it back to me within days. It took UPS longer to deliver it, 3 attempts at wrong addresses before it got to me. So I cannot say thank you enough to OMEX and the staff there for the level of communication and the speedy repair and check that they did on the OMEX and sending it back. You're very happy with OMEX. Thank you very much. So OMEX is now back. We know it works. Let's plug it in, get it started, shall we? Good to see this thing revving again cleanly. She sounds better than I remember. But something to remember, this is just me getting it back to the way it was. And taking a look at the throttle positioning sensor here, we can see that we are actually getting up to 100% and back down to where it was. So we know that the throttle positioning sensor is now working. Happy times! Now that's working, I just want to tidy up this wiring a little bit. Throttle bodies need to come off now, and I need to start modifying them for the new fuel rail. Now this damaged plug here is for the idle air control valve. 2 of these wires pulled out while I was pulling it around in the loom. Anyway, it's coming off now, so I'm going to unpin this all the way back at the ECU. Now, I don't want to need either of these. This is the old earth that they put in, and this is just a temporary. And this does not need to be this long. Cool. So I've just run this earth wire nice, so it comes off of the battery now, just ducks under around the side, just through this grommet here, and then pops up just down there, and then bolts up onto here. There's other earthing points right here, and there's one over this way as well. So hopefully that's going to really improve the continuity of the earthing for the battery. And obviously I've just shortened the one to the engine as well, so that now has a shorter route. And then obviously we have the one that's down here somewhere that goes from the engine off to an earthing point down here as well. So hopefully that's just going to steady the voltage a bit more, and just one less thing to worry about at the rolling road. So I'm just going to put all this back together now, but I just noticed this, look. I mean, I don't want to bash previous builders and stuff. I know people can pick me to pieces as well. So this is absolute gold. I cannot believe that there's someone has left a 10mm snap-on. It's because they got a really long thread. And they took ages doing that thread up and then couldn't get the spanner off. So they've just left it dangling like some sort of ornament. Yoink, I'm going to have that way. Benefits of a small garage, everything is like in reach. That's how too long it was. Time to bolt it back up. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the way that this wiring is. It's not clean, but at least it's not too chopped around. Yeah, got the odd little plug and end bit here, but at least they're all crimped off and neat. All the relays are now actually fixed properly. Now these are all fixed now, which is all good. So yeah, happy with that. And the dash is held on 2 bolts here and then over there as well. Starting to show signs of rust, isn't it? Eh? Not looking the best, but it's what we've got to work with. Some screws missing. Screws missing. Sedgway here. This box of nuts and bolts, which I keep in the bottom of my toolbox, I have had for must have been 10-15 years, and I still dig into here hoping that I'll find the screw that I want. 2 missing screws. Oosh. That's the kind of thing I want. But look, there's machine screws in here, all sorts of stuff. Like a little gold mine. Just have a little dig, go in there with positivity, optimism, and who knows if you find the screw that you want. Just keep on digging, baby, keep on digging. Okay, so as mentioned before, I'm taking this bit off now, which means the pipe that was breathing before, taking air from here out and into this system, is now not needed. So I need to plug this hole. Oh, the 3D printer. This has got exactly the same detail barb at the end, exactly the same diameter. It's just got a domed top on it. So I'm just going to put this in. ABS, so it should be stable with oil and heat. That looks trick. Happy times. Now, as I mentioned in the previous episode, the weather has turned and it's a little bit chilly, so it makes cutting quite difficult at times, but yeah, we can get through that, boy. And the cut must be straight, right? You guys will recognise this from a previous episode about me 3D printing it. Don't hate me, I want it out of aluminium now, okay? Just a quick note on how I would cut out this intricate part here. This aluminium has got to be 4mm, pretty low grade. I would say 1000 grade aluminium. But the shape, obviously, I want to get quite nice. I use something called a coping saw. Now, I always thought these were for woodworking, and they probably are mainly for woodworking. But it also melts its way through aluminium pretty well as well. So I use this all the time. I've even cut steel with this stuff as well. So it's really good for just nice little bits. There's a Bizzle little tip for you. You're welcome. How's that going to sit? Over here. Dump valves there. Over here. I'm wondering if it can come up something like that. That might work. Okay, so I think I've got a position for this. I've just cleared some of this pipework away. Idle air control valve is out. I took the one of the fuel rail ends out, and there was a little bleed off here that's not needed. I have to blank that off, and I just rerouted the breather in a downward kind of away position, and it's opened up this pocket here. So holding this the way that I'd kind of like it would be quite nice to be here somewhere. The throttle bodies actually point up slightly, you know, at this angle. So if I come off of this bolt here, and then the old banjo there, with a bracket that comes up and across, then it can sit something like this. Fuel's going to come in at this end. It's going to come out the bottom. There'll just be a neat loop to just drop down, up into this one. Gauge is going to be visible over the top of the ECU, which is going to sit there somewhere. Fuel in is going to be at this end, and the fuel comes down, and the fuel pressure regulator backs the fuel down the rail. It can't hold back the fuel and squirt it down because it's a free flowing back all the way to the fuel tank. So the fuel has to come down this way into the regulator, which is variable resistance for the flow, and that's how it builds up the pressure, which means that actually this one might have to come round and into here, and then this one is back to the tank because it does have arrows. So it'll have to be round into here, then back to the tank, which is still not a problem. That means it'll have a little bit of a loop, but so be it. Yeah, I'm going to make up a bracket. I think I'm going to 3D print that bracket because there's quite a bit of thickness here to take up for the banjo. This is quite thin. Orientation's pretty important. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm pretty happy with that. Certainly as a first shot until proven otherwise. Super. All right, so there's a number of things that I need to do to this. One of the things that I need to do is I need to modify the injector ports for the new injectors. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to start off, which I think is for just as important, but maybe not as kind of scary one, which is from, as part of this fuel rail kit, the throttle linkage can't fit on here because it's in the way, hits all this. So it actually gets relocated to underneath. So as part of the MRP kit, you get some SQ engineering gubbins, in particular these two bits. Now I guess one of them's kind of going to maybe go here. So it's going to be orientated like this, and it's going to pull it from the back and open it up that way. Yeah. So first thing I need to do is I think is get these two off. Now it does warn that these are going to be quite difficult. So I'm just going to get a nice big P3. It's huge, isn't it? It's a P3 screwdriver. This has all been taken off and painted before, so helps if we go the right way. These are good. These are good. So I'll take these off. Nice and easy. Cool. No doubt these are going to have to come off. Cool. Okay, coming off. They are. Alright, so this is the bit which I need to undo. This is interesting. Just having a look on the back of here. All this looks clean. I need to check the instruction manual now to see what I do next. So I need to stop recording briefly so I can look at it on my phone. So we got this far, which is good. So taking a quick look at the instructions, it says that take that bolt off, leave all this in place. This goes on top. It's quite nice the way that fits around there. Nut goes back on. Tighten it up. sorted. And then that goes back on. This one goes on first. Yeah, like that. One in. Now it does say not to reuse these and to buy new GIS ones, but the chances of that are incredibly slim, aren't they? So here's a bit of feedback for SQ Engineering. A nice bit of kit and that, but it's a bit difficult when you say don't reuse the screws, these GIS ones, and then don't supply any others, because that might be okay for you in Australia or New Zealand, where you're not far from Japan and probably have a huge import-export business. But over here in good old Blighty, the chances of me finding them screws are near on impossible. So I'm just going to have to do these up about right. And hopefully, A, I don't strip any, and B, because I can feel they are a little bit naughty, especially them long ones. You can feel it's literally just on the cusp of stripping. Yeah, I mean, you could easily strip them if you're not careful. Really? There you go, so that's on now, isn't it? Goes like that, and then I guess this thing goes there somewhere. I'm just going to pull straight off there, look. But you provided these ones, these are lovely, look at these. Wow, these are like factory Japan gold. Might as well be gold. Chances of finding these in the UK are impossible. Right. That's first job done, isn't it? There we go. How am I going to feed that up around there? That's going to be blooming impossible, isn't it? Through there and tighten that up. See how that looks on the car, I think. So I've just roughly fitted these in place. There's no nuts or anything holding them on. Throttle cable comes down. Used to run around the outside of there, across the top to the old throttle linkage, and now it's going to come out under the steering column and straight to there. So it's a lot shorter of a run. It's literally like 40 centimeters or so. So I'm going to move on to the next job now, taking the fuel rail off and blanking these two breathers off, one here, because I don't need these anymore, because I've got takeoffs. I'm going to tap holes in here for my, I think it's 3 takeoffs I need. I need one for the dump valve, map sensor, booster gauge. So I'm just going to take off for them. Okay, so now we're happy with this. I need to blank off these holes, as I was saying before. So I've just taken the first throttle body off, and I've just triple checked that I've got everything I need. So I have some M5 screws. I have 4.2 drill bit. Check. Hacksaw, silicon seal, and M5 tap. So I'm going to cut that off, tap it, clean it out with some air spray, silicon seal, tap that in. What can go wrong, eh? Drill it out. Ream that with the 4.2. Strictly speaking, not reaming. I know that. See if I can tap this. Tapping holes is always a little bit nerve-wracking. You need to make sure you get the tap obviously completely square with the hole, which you're not in at that time. And it's very difficult to get right. So just be patient, take your time, 4 turns in, 2 turns out, and just gently cut the thread as best as you can. Then it's a bit of a gasket sealant and a nice screw, goes in nice and tight. On to the next one. Cut, file, drill, clean, tap. You get the idea. There we go. So there's one done. And then going across. There's the other one. So we're just going to clean that up a lot nicer, this. Could do with an actual clean, but the throttle bodies are coming along nicely. So next mod is fitting the injectors, the new injectors. Quite a few really important jobs ticked off this week in TeaN'BizzKits. We're getting there. There's still a lot more to do, so you got to tune into part 2 next week. But after that, we've got some really good stuff coming on. We've got the rolling road, as I've teased many times. We've also then got potentially a track day, if all goes well. Potentially MOT prep. Potentially getting out and meeting people early 2025. So please like and share. Hit that subscribe button. And my name's been Bizzle. This has been TeaN'BizzKits. And thank you, and I'll see you again soon.